In this video, I'm going to show you how to hit the topspin lob, when to hit it, and why you want to have a topspin lob. To my mind, by definition, any lob is defensive. However, the topspin lob is the more aggressive version as opposed to the lift lob. So let's get going. Obviously, you're lobbing somebody when they come into net, and most specifically when they're over closing. What is over closing? What is coming in too close? So one cue that I learned that helped me pretty well is if you had a line halfway from the service line to the net, about here, and they're closing in past this line, then it's a really great time to lob.
So here's a classic example of over closing. Tanya here shamelessly over closes. It is obviously the right time to lob. Right there.
Now there's another option, of course, the lift lob or even slice lob, whichever you want to call that. But the topspin lob is way more aggressive in that the ball travels a lot faster. So you're actually clearing the net person a lot quicker. And even if they're trying to retrieve it when they're running it down, the topspin lob has some action off the bounce. So basically the ball bounces and then travels away from the person trying to retrieve the ball. So that's definitely an advantage.
Here's actually a great example of both a more defensive lob, meaning an underspin lob, and then also a topspin lob. So this player here is serving, they're coming in, and I'll let that run. It's a good exchange here. And this is a really great volley here. And I'm not quite sure if this person here really should have taken that ball, but she does. And she's hitting a very defensive slice lob. And now see how much time actually this player here has to cover the ball for her partner. Her partner then decides to slide over. So that's really good communication between the two of them. But basically, either one of them could have had it. And now look at this player. She's going to hit a topspin lob, and she's also going to exploit that this player here makes a very, very common mistake. When you're clearing somebody with a lob and they're both retreating here, do not close in as tightly as this player. Hover a little bit more around here because it is very common that you'll get lobbed back. Now, maybe not quite with as phenomenal of a topspin lob, but look at this here. But with as much action off the bounce of that topspin lob, there's no way she can run that down.
So even if you're not outright clearing the person, meaning the ball goes directly over them without them even trying, if they do try to set up, because there's more rotation on the ball travels faster, they have less time to set up properly, and it's a lot tougher for them to get under the ball. And that is yet another advantage of the topspin lob. Okay, how to hit a topspin lob. Think about a really, really, really heavy topspin forehand or backhand. And what you want to work on is really getting the racket head big time under the ball and brushing up steeper. So you're getting a lot of friction on the ball, which lifts the ball up quickly, gets it enough rotation so that the ball actually stays in. To hit a good topspin lob, you have to get a ball that sits a little bit more, that has a little bit of a higher bounce, because it makes it a whole lot easier to get under the ball. So for instance, if somebody pops up a volley, that's a great opportunity because you can get under the ball. If somebody sticks a volley and it's really low, that's going to be difficult to get under the ball and really heavily roll it. That's maybe a time when you want to use your slice lob. To me, it's a little easier to hit a topspin lob on the forehand because it's easier to get under the ball, let the racket head drop. But on the backhand, exact same principle. Whether you hit a one-hander or a two-hander, you're really working on letting that racket head get under the ball so you can brush forward and up very steeply to your contact point. In terms of how you finish your shot, your swing, really depends on the situation. I'm not going to tell you to always finish like this or on the forehand like this, whatever. It really depends on how deep you want to hit it with exactly how much rotation, which direction, cross court, down the line, what your court positioning is. It really is situational. So it can be anything from finishing almost over your right hip if you're a right-handed, one-handed player. It could be something like this. And on the forehand, it might look something like, yes, it could be this, but it could also be that. So again, don't cookie cutter yourself. To me, super important is that you use your legs as well. You want to really load your legs and drive up from the ground up. I've seen a couple of videos where the coaches were talking about falling back. Maybe every now and then you're actually making proper contact. But by falling back, especially when you see my head moving past my butt basically, I'm falling off the ball, it's going to be really difficult to control that ball. I do prefer the legs. So let's look to really use your legs. As with any newer skill or thing that you want to add to your repertoire, start a little slower. And I'm perfectly fine with you self-tossing the ball to figure out how low you have to get the racket under the ball and how aggressively you have to brush up to get lift on the ball. And then the next stage would be, for instance, for somebody to toss the balls. Then of course you can have somebody feed from the other side and then you can put that into play. Let me show you a drill for that. You're feeding somebody an approach shot and your first ball should be no, not a lob. Try to go down to their feet. Draw them past that imaginary half line from the service line to the net and then you lob. So the first part of the drill is just to the forehand. Approach shot and the volley to the forehand, and then I can work on my forehand topspin lob, and you can do, of course, the same on the backhand side. Maybe not the best of lobs, but it's practice. And of course, Erica was nice enough to pretend that she was over closing like a crazy person. If you like this video and you want more content that I'm not publishing anywhere else, consider joining my Patreon. For as little as $5, you're getting early access, you're getting extra videos, and if you're joining the Grand Slam level, you're actually getting access to a monthly live video call and even more perks. So consider joining my Patreon.